everyone. We are officially back to movie reviews by Dr. B and
Mrs. B.
That's right, we are officially back for our next movie review. And a reason why we're doing this is because I'm an anthropologist and you are
I'm an independent artist scholar.
She's an independent artist scholar, and we felt like there was a need, a desperate need, to provide our perspective to movies, to have a good time looking at movies collectively together as a married couple of 31 years and having children who are adults.
Who are adults.
And the perspective of two persons of color as well as baby boomers. And it's great to be a baby boomer.
Yes. 50 and up.
What'd you say?
50 and up.
50 and up. Keep on going. 50 and up. A little bit more up. For me, it's a little bit more up.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
But we want to really appreciate you viewing our first video. But also, we want to examine another movie. And this movie is entitled Jingle Jangle. Netflix Jingle Jangle, which premiered over the holiday, and we've seen it during the holidays, right before the holidays, but also after the holidays. And Jingle Jangle is a Netflix movie called a family Christmas special movie. It's actually a Christmas journey. And with that, we want to give, and actually I saw the movie a couple of times, and then I said, wow, Mrs. B, you gotta look at this movie.
Yes, you did. And I thought, wow, okay, well, let's listen about it. So wait a minute, why haven't I heard about this before? And I was really surprised that I hadn't. And but at the same time, there hasn't been as much movies recently that had this much creativity. And so Dr. B called me on in, and I thought, okay, let's do a movie night. And then there it went from there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful movie night. And again, I didn't preface anything for Mrs. B, and I wanted to keep it fresh because when I went into the movie, it was just captivating. And I'm going to tell you, because what we do in the movie reviews, I give you a little backdrop of the cast members first. Give you a little bit of the cast members, and then we will talk about a little bit of the plot, and then we will give you our official review at the end. Thumbs up or thumbs down. So that's how we do it on movie review.
Is that how we do it? That's how we do it.
There you go. So with that, again, and it's January now, but this is an interesting movie that again came out, sponsored by Netflix, and what I wanted to do is just give you a little bit of the cast members. And I want to get Mrs. B take on the cast members. Because, again, it was just fascinating to go over the cast members. Now, the lead actor in this movie, Jingle Jangle, was Forest Whitaker.
Yes, Forest Whitaker, who stars in many films as an actor. And I'd have to say his performances have always been excellent in all the films he's been in. Forrest gives it his all, and all the craft that an actor does, anywhere from the stage, the screen, and from the theater. So I'd have to say, good job, Forrest Whitaker. Excellent.
Yeah, again, when you bring an actor like Forrest Whitaker, who is an Academy Award winner, who won the Academy Award for, what was it? Scotland.
Last King
of Scotland. I said, wait a minute. They got Forrest Whitaker?
Yes.
And then also they have Felicia Rashad. Felicia Rashad. From
Go right ahead.
From the Cosby Show. And many other shows, but Felicia Rashad was phenomenal. She played the grandmother Journey, and actually Forrest Whitaker played the older Journeycus. And then a breakout star, Madeline Mills, the young actress playing Journey.
Yes.
And then there was, let me just say, Keegan-Michael Key. Now, when you hear about Keegan-Michael Key, what do you think about?
Keegan-Michael, well, a newer actor for me. But I have to go back for a quick minute and say Felicia Rashad caught my eye and my children's eye when they were younger, of Mrs. B and Dr. B, with Pollyanna, Polly. And they did a version of Pollyanna, which was more multicultural, African American and black. And when they did that movie, it featured Pollyanna, Keisha Knight Pulliam, I believe, and Felicia Rashad there. It was an excellent representation of not only having audiences of all colors and all ages, but representation of culture, African American culture, black culture, multiracial culture, biracial culture, of all types of people, and particularly African American culture in the South and parts of the North. It was really amazing to me, and we loved that movie. So she did an excellent job. And the Allen sisters, starting from Houston, Texas, I have to say, the Allen daughters.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
And again, thank you for that backdrop on the Felicia Rashad and the family. Okay, but we want to keep it tight to the movie, okay? Because, again, thank you for that backdrop.
There you go.
Thank you for that backdrop. But getting to Keegan-Michael Key, the reason why I bring up Keegan-Michael Key, he was the villain in this movie. He was the villain, and plus he's a trained comedian. And guess what? When you do a little backdrop on Keegan-Michael Key, he's from Michigan. He's actually from Southfield, Michigan. Detroit. And so that was a great
Holland
cast.
Park calling out. Holland
There you
Park,
go.
Michigan,
And
born and bred. Left in 1981.
There you go.
To college, but university, but Holland Park, Michigan, Southfield, Michigan.
And then we have also Ricky Martin, who played Don Juan Dahl. We also have Justin Cornwell, who was the younger Jernicus. And then Annika Nona Rose, who played Jessica. And she was actually in a Disney movie, Princess and the Frog, the first only African American who took the lead. She was in Princess and the Frog, and we'll talk about her in a little bit. And also they have Lisa Davina Phillips. She played Mrs. Johnston, and she's an English actress and from South London, did an excellent job, as well as they also had Hugh Bonneville. He's played Mr. Delacroix. He's an English actor. He actually starred in Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey. I'll get it right. Downton Abbey.
I do this to Dr. B all the time.
You do that. Yes, you do. And then
a little less now.
And then also the director. Thank you for that. Another correct. Thank you. And then the director of this Jingle Jangle. The director. When you do a little, I was just totally shocked. David Talbert. He's the writer and the director.
Yes.
And he came from Morgan State University and went through New York, and he's a phenomenal playwright and producer. And guess what? He's actually had over 24 NAACP nominations already. So they brought him on board. Netflix, as I understand, really produced him, really backed him and said, let's do this Christmas movie special. And so that's a little backdrop of the actors and actresses.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think? So what do you think about the overall cast?
The overall cast is fantastic, marvelous, beautiful, and so much extreme amount of talent to put together. David Talbert, to put that type of talent together, someone had an eye for the special talent and gift of the fine arts. And not just someone, all of the cast, the producers, directors, and such energy to put that together. And the casting was spot on, excellent, and it could not be more exquisite in having all the colors come together. So I just wanted to say that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mrs. B. Mrs. B. Thank you for that artistic approach, artistic analysis, which we always need in our review. Thank you very much. And then, what I want to also move on next is the plot. Now, let me just say, when I first saw this movie, I didn't know it was a musical. I had no idea. And the very first scene sets it up where it is a musical. And it just wrapped me up. It just got me into the plot. Because guess what? It started out actually with Felicia Rashad being the grandmother, telling a story to her grandkids, and said the grandkids needed to hear this story. And all of a sudden, she tells the story, and then they get transformed back in time to the story. And that's where the story begins in this fantastic musical. And let me just say, the music was also, and I got to give a props, it just made me think about John Legend. John Legend was the producer and writer of the music.
Well, that was fantastic. You had to expect that John Legend, a fellow Ohioan, as you are, Buckeye, born and bred, was going to jam and turn it
Let me just say this. I don't know why she always brings up this. I mean, I'm going to talk about myself eventually, but she always brings up this stuff. Don't worry about, I'm a born and bred Ohioan from Springfield, Ohio, by the way. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Keep it to the focus. I just brought up John Legend because he's a phenomenal talent, continued to elevate his skill craft, and now he's producing movies, classic movies, and providing his skills as a musician, composer to classic movies that really reaches a broader audience, and that's what he's doing, a broader audience. So that's the reason why I bring up John Legend. So after Felicia Rashad, the grandmother, tells the story, we get transformed back to the day and time. It's actually 1880s. The storyline is in 1880s.
Historical.
Very important. And then it shows the younger Jernicus, played by Justin Cornwell, and him and his wife. They come across this great, fantastic discovery, and then unfortunately, this discovery gets lost and stolen by the villain, Keegan-Michael Key. Eventually, and then guess what? Then Forrest Whitaker comes in, and Forrest Whitaker comes in, and he's distraught. He's disappointed. He lost his creativity because he was a genius at that point in time when he was younger, because he came up with something new. And this new thing was this Don Juan doll played by Ricky Martin. And let me give a shout out to Ricky Martin. He did a fantastic. What did you think about that Don Juan doll?
Oh, the Don Juan doll was fantastic. And the cinematography, as I've spoken before, as well as the craft and the staging and the stage artistic props, as well as the costumes, as well as was all fit together. The mannequin doll, the sculptured doll,
Ricky Martin, the Don Juan doll,
the Don Juan doll that they put together and then sculpted as artistic.
He actually danced around. He actually was making jokes all around. The Don Juan doll was just moving around constantly.
Well, matching the voice with the doll, with the actual sculpture, that is, fine sculpture moving around was just extraordinary. And so he did just a wonderful job, as well as Forrest doing his role, and it was heartbreaking to see that his apprentice takes away, this idea,
steals it, borrows it, but really steals it,
basically, and theft and all his creativity, ingenuity, intellectual, creative property gone, and he's heartbroken.
And he's heartbroken for years upon years upon years. And then what happens eventually? Guess what happens? Jessica, his daughter, reconnects with Forrest Whitaker, the older Jernicus. And then Jessica invites her daughter to meet Forrest Whitaker, her grandfather. And that's when Madeline Mills comes into the plot, comes into the movie, and she steals the scene. Madeline Mills is phenomenal talent. And I did a little backdrop on Madeline Mills. She's actually, 12 years old. Great voice, but she loves to play bass guitar. She was the star of her first grade play, and she loves math. She loves science, technology, engineering, and math. Just happened to be. So when Madeline Mills she was phenomenal. What did you think about Madeline Mills, a young 12-year-old?
A young 12-year-old, and we talked about this. Talented, wonderful, smart, I mean, just really knowing. And then she's a visualizer. So that's what I really liked about a young mind, art education, being a visualizer, and understanding what it is to the camera and letting it be natural. Very smart young lady, very, very visual, doing all types of it. You know what the director tells a young child to do: get here, go here, stand up.
She was just very. She was just
go here, go there.
She was just very natural
Very
in
natural
her role,
in the roles
and you can
and
see
direction.
that then when they switched to her music scenes
Very much.
and her vocals just really stood out. I mean, she just stole the show, and they featured her, and I'm really glad David Talbot really featured her in her vocals and way she characterized. And then they brought in the again the plot where Keegan-Michael Key, he eventually steals the again plots against them, and then they have to go to the big factory to get it back. And then at the very end, here comes Jernicus comes in, the older Jernicus. He meets Jessica, because Jessica has to come and get her daughter Journey. And wow, that scene. Now this is what I'm going to kind of go off script with you, Mrs. B.
Okay.
But that scene when Jessica comes back to her father, Jernicus, Forrest Whitaker, and she said, I'm back here because we have been not together for years. And that music scene, that scene where we're going to get back together and we're going to work together. And that's where it hit me truly. Because as a father myself,
Oh,
wow,
I know where he's going with this.
it was heartfelt when you see Forrest Whitaker, who normally doesn't sing. He sings in this movie.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker wrote down and sang several songs, but that song that he sang to Jessica, he was heart, and you could just feel like it was heartfelt.
That would be
And as
arts and theater.
as a father myself, singing a song to your daughter in the character, oh man, Dr. B teared up. That's right, Dr. B teared up. And it was just so emotional.
Yeah.
Again, that was another scene that just ripped my soul's ripped my heart out, because it was so genuine. It was so sincere. So you didn't have to be a kid to enjoy this movie. It was really sincere. And you can see David Talbot was reaching for that moment in this movie, because he wanted to make it very personal. Not just a kid, not really a kid's movie. It was really personal.
That's true. That's true.
And then Jessica, Nona Rose, she just blew it apart with her vocals. She when she came on the scene, she was just fantastic. How she related to Forrest Whitaker, and you can see that they just enjoyed being together.
That's true. That's true. I mean, they did, and it was so innocent. And just like with our daughter growing up, our daughter is really, really, really fantastic. I can see the beauty in my daughter's eyes to daddy, just so innocent and loving, and just so hugging and kisses. And it is really, really teary-eyed when you see the father, shutting himself off from, in the film, from his child, because he thinks he's a failure. He thinks that he can't meet up to his daughter. He thinks that he has no more love to give when his wife died, and he was heartbroken. And then to have a daughter go away and have to live on her own, and then come back with the granddaughter drops off, and he's like, I'm not going to be with the granddaughter. Yep. And then he comes back, and then, as a father, I got to say, Dr. B, so wonderful to our daughter. And that is such a feeling.
And what we're taking away from this movie is the essence of this movie is about the connection that family has, and how we need to grow each and every phase of our life. And then when it came around by the end, guess what came around by the end? The fantastic scene where they got the special doll back. They had everything. And then what was it about? The possibility of believing. Never give up in your fight to believe in the possibility. That was the takeaway message from me. So I give you the plot. Yes, it was very personable, and yet it was an opportunity to get into a movie that you didn't have to think about other things. You were right there in the moment. And when Forrest Whitaker sang those songs, and then when Annika Nona Rose, she took over, and then as well as Journey, it was fantastic motion and theater at its best. And let me just say, David Talbot just wrapped it all up so well. What would you say by the end of the movie?
Well, I want to the actor in the beginning. I want to say this before we wrap up towards the end. The actor in the beginning, the actor that played the younger Forrest Whitaker, was stellar and excellent as well.
That's Justin Cornwell. He did a great job.
Was so innocent. His eyes reflected in the screen. He was so on point and happy and turned and just spirit, sprouting from his heart, sprung from his heart, the innocence and love of his family, his children, and then the disappointment of the betrayal. And that actor right there is fresh and new on the scene to me. And that's what normally would happen in the film industry. You would be able to have a new actor come in that was fresher talent. All is fresh as you renew through time and age, particularly in our age group. But also at the same time, you would bring in new talent, more talent.
Whose age group?
Our age group. 55 to 65 and 50 and up.
Whose age group?
You can't stay young forever. And I'm perfectly fine with being 58. But I'll have at least 62.
Very much so.
What I'll say is that there is a time in the music industry, but that the film scores and music scores into film, where you would bring in the actors, the theater, and whenever the new talent came up, or what was going on to the next person, you didn't lose the older talent. You didn't use the ageless, mature talent. You brought in new people and you groomed them. And so what's happening now is the spin off here, spin off there, and then you get this use, rather than nurture.
So I want to know. I think the people want to know. We're 22 minutes in. Did you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down? I'm not going to give the final plot together. Spoiler.
Oh, give it
did
all
you give
down.
Did you give it a thumbs up or thumbs down? Thank you for the analysis. But what did you give a thumbs up or thumbs down?
As an independent artist scholar, a BFA Fine Arts administrator formerly, and a management person that's an experienced in management, and looking at all the production and the managing.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
And how that works.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah, he's trying to put...
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I'm going to take my time and say, excellent movie. Excellent film.
Thumbs up or thumbs
Jingle
down?
Jangle. I'm going to say, drum roll please, ladies and gentlemen. Thumb roll. Thumbs up.
There you go. We finally arrived there. 23 minutes. 23 minutes. I gave it thumbs up as well. Thumbs up. Four thumbs up on this movie. Thumbs up on this movie.
We loved it.
My gosh, it was a fantastic movie. I've seen it several times after that. And again, it is a classic movie. And the reason why I wanted to do this this review is that I understand that Netflix is about ready to make a determination whether they're going to have a sequel to this, because it sets it up to whether they're going to have a sequel or not. And guess what? It's also tentatively planned for 2022. Did you know that? That's something I didn't tell you.
Oh,
It's tentatively planned for 2022. But they don't know for sure. It started out.
They don't know for sure.
They're waiting for reviews. They're waiting for comments from us, the viewers.
Well, the viewers like us, the educators, the art education, the scholars and professors, and all the fine arts.
Dr. B.
Dr. B and Mrs. B.
Dr. B.
We say, give that a go. It's
Give it a
green
go.
light.
Give it a sequel.
All the way.
Keep on going. Do a sequel. Do another one, because David Talbert and the entire cast deserves it. And this is a heartfelt movie of the ages. It will become a classic for all people.
For all people.
For all people.
And I say,
and of course, I felt good.
Not just two. One. Not just one. It's one already. Excellent. Not just two that they're going to give it a green light on. Please, we hope so. And we appreciate if you do. The studios in fine arts and cinematography and all those great people in College of Fine Arts. And also, not only that, the and a number 3. It needs to be a
trilogy. That makes sense.
Christmas trilogy.
Christmas
you could name it something
trilogy.
else. A triptych,
Thank you.
A triptych of a picture.
Finally, you came on board.
But
a trilogy. There you go. Everything else is a trilogy. Why not this? Jingle Jangle, a trilogy. You heard it first here.
3 films.
A trilogy.
Just like they did with other Christmas movies.
Famous movies.
Famous
Get
Christmas movies.
trilogies.
This deserves.
Why not Jingle?
This cast.
Jangle.
With all kind of cultures.
So we are all on board to see 3 of these movies.
And don't
2
forget
more
the Royal
with
Mail.
3 of
It
these
was great.
movies.
The Royal Mail actress, singing.
That's Davina. Davina from, she was, like I said, Davina, she was phenomenal. Again, all the actors and actresses did an outstanding job, and they deserve all the proper recognition. So with that said, again, thumbs up from Movie Reviews by Dr. B and
Mrs. B.
There you go. And I'm an anthropologist, and she's a
independent artist scholar.
There you go. We want to thank you for your time. And again, it's a matter of providing some insight, new insight for each and every one of you, so you can enjoy the movies and enjoy 2021. Any lasting messages, Mrs. B?
I'd like to say, stay safe, have a happy 2021, going into the future and into end of January will be joyous. Stay safe, be with each other, show love in your heart, kindness and caring. And in the future, there's going to be a brighter and better and more precious and loving and caring days ahead. Stay together and put down any hate and any strife and pick up love and coming together. And that's what I want to say. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Mrs. B. This is Dr. B. We out.